A quick disclaimer before we start. Please keep in mind that this is a dev build, which means a lot of things are subject to change and may be tweaked before they are released. We also have to keep in mind a lot of things in this build might be experimental features and might not even be added to the game. The first thing we're going to look into is the T-62 main battle tank, which we can assume will be for insurgents and militia. It has 4 main means of offensive capabilities which will be displayed on screen, and it can also generate smoke as a defensive measure. The T-62 has 7 seats, 3 main, the driver, the gunner and the commander, and 4 passenger seats which are located on the back of the tank. A nice surprise in this dev build to come across was the BRDM or Scout Car new variant, which has an ATGM Cornet system mounted to the top of it. It holds up to 5 rockets. You can fire a single rocket or you can fire one after the other with about a 1 to 2 second delay in between each shot. You can only control one at a time though from my own testing, but if a target is stationary you can completely obliterate it with 2 to 3 rockets in the time it takes for it to react. We get a new flavour to the MRAP, and this one comes with an M240 Bravo instead of the standard M250 cal. Shown off was the new addition to the component damage system for vehicles, which as you can see here is the tracks. There's also a visual state showing that the tracks are damaged. And when driving, depending what side is damaged will decide the orientation of your vehicle as you try to move forward or backwards. In this case, my left track's damaged, so I'm rotating left. If both tracks are destroyed, that vehicle is completely immobile and will not be moving anywhere fast. All you'll be limited to is using your offensive and defensive measures until the vehicle itself is repaired. In addition to track damage is wheel damage, so you can shoot out tyres now. You can blow them up with heat. I did quite a bit of testing, which I'll show later on. So when driving a wheeled vehicle, you can still drive while tyres are blown out, but your speed is quite heavily reduced. The more tyres out, the slower you're going to go, and the harder it is to control the vehicle itself. As you can see here, blowing up a tyre with AT still has the same visual state as shooting it. They don't completely explode, they just deflate. As seen here, I tested a lot of things to see what would damage tracks, but you have to keep in mind again that this is local and not an actual server, so things tend to be broken when it comes to testing things in local. The damage system is usually balked completely. We get a new toy to play with the VZ61 Skorpion. It can be fired fully automatic or single fire. It's quite easy to control, and from what I've seen it only is available to crewmen for the insurgents and militia at this stage. For the SL insurgent kit and possibly militia kit, we get the AKM with the 50 round drum mag. Weapon statistics still remain the same apart from the ammo capacity, obviously. Kit loadout. So this might be the first phase to customization within squad. Very light customization, but we now get the options for certain roles to choose between optics or iron sights. In saying this, not all kits have multiple choices, but others have been updated where they do have a mid-range optic attached now. With this new freedom comes trade-offs, and the trade-offs are in the form of utility. So as you can see here, this rifleman with the iron sights gets 2 grenades, 2 smoke, sandbags, ammo, and binoculars, while the rifleman with the optic gets 1 grenade, 1 smoke, and also no binoculars and no sandbags. Granular ammo, so we now get the options to choose of what we want to rearm when we're at a weapon crate. You can select what you want or deselect, and if you're just lazy and want to rearm all, you just click the middle without selecting it. Engineers and sappers and explosives. So each faction either gets a sapper or an engineer, each with their own set of explosive, which is timed to a 30-second fuse. Meaning you cannot manually detonate them, you have to place them and wait 30 seconds. They are placeable on objects and vehicles. Putting them on vehicles is quite janky from what I've seen, similar to how IEDs work. And importantly, yes, they do function. Another interesting thing I would like to mention is that the Engineer and Sapper class come equipped with a repair kit, so not only do they destroy vehicles, they can repair them. In addition to timed explosives, we get new mines for conventional factions. A feature that has been spoken of by devs before has been teased in this build. As you can see, it's hand signals. For now it's restricted to SL markers, so whatever marker you put down, the hand signal correlates to that. It's not a huge game-changing feature, but it's cool to see, fun to have, and helps increase immersion. Placing down a rally point also has a hand gesture. Placing down deployables such as sandbags, fob, etc. does not. From what I can see, all hand gestures are the same no matter what faction you are. Animation cancelling is a thing when it comes to hand gestures. You can ADS, hip fire, or simply select something within your inventory and the animation will cancel. Something interesting to see was this Unarmed role. Within this test build it was available to only conventional factions, from what I saw. Its only main function was to press right mouse button and you could put your hands up to surrender. If anyone's played Project Reality, you know this was a part of the civilian role, where you could surrender, get up to civilian shenanigans to gain intel, and also pick up rocks and throw them at the Western scum. But we have to keep in mind this is a dev build and this is most likely an experimental feature that we might not see added to the game. They're just probably testing things out, and hopefully they do add something like this. Something nice to see was the Friends tab on the main menu. It displays your online and offline friends, and it's supposed to have a join button next to their name. So if they're in server, I guess you could just click that button and you'll go directly to that server and don't have to go through the hassle of server lists. Something interesting was there was no foliage graphics setting. Maybe it was just disabled for the dev build. Another change that was noticed in this dev build was the 1P78 Russian Optic. It's a bit darker, has a bit more shadowing to it, and the reticle itself isn't as clumped together, it's a bit more spaced out. The last thing I was able to notice was the update to the vehicle damage chart. So this is all I came across, or could find. I probably missed some stuff, hopefully I didn't miss too much. This is pretty much it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and got a nice insight to what was in this build, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.